Hello and welcome to the King's Club. You are now entering the King's Club. Today we're going to talk about the Sanctuary of Time in our series of METATRONS Cube. The Sanctuary of Time, the 13th Spirit of Christ, the SUPERNAL Mother. SUPERNAL means celestial. And New Jerusalem being a oasis, the true Eden, starting with the Sanctuary of Time. New Jerusalem, the city of God, of which we are, which is METATRONS Cube, is also the Sabbath, seventh day of time, encapsulated. Think about that. The Sabbath is New Jerusalem, encapsulated. It's the sanctuary of time. New Jerusalem, the city where God rests. That city is a sanctuary, and that's a sanctuary of time. It's a holy day encapsulated in a city. In the city of God, you have the seventh Sabbath day of rest in a perpetual state. On the seventh day, God rested, and this is where all creation flowed from. All blessings and perfection flowed from the seventh Sabbath day of rest. Since New Jerusalem is the Sabbath, this means that all blessings, perfection, all creation flows from that city. All things are completed on the seventh, which means all of creation unfolds from the New Jerusalem as the epicenter of creation. This is why New Jerusalem is the epicenter of creation, because it is the Sabbath sanctuary of time, where all things flow from. So when Adam sinned, he sinned on the seventh day of rest. He sinned on the Sabbath. He sinned on the Sabbath, so he disobeyed God's commandments on a holy day. Thus, Adam polluted the sanctuary of time, which is the Sabbath, and he polluted his own body, which is a microcosm of the Sabbath. The immortality, and this is why Adam died spiritually as well as materially, the immortality of man was predicated on God resting in the human body in an endless, timeless state of sanctity. This is why man, as the Sabbath, does not live on forever, dies, because they have polluted in the sanctity, the sanctuary of time, as their body, the Sabbath, has been polluted. God cannot rest there like the seventh day perpetually. So this is, as I mentioned, this caused a disconnect between heaven and earth. It happened, and since this happened, his spirit died and his body followed. And this is how death and disease happen, is because of the pollution of the Sabbath. God cannot rest in a corrupted sanctuary of time, just like he does not rest or enter a corrupted, polluted sanctuary, physical or celestial. So if we resemble the Sabbath sanctuary in body and time, God can rest in us and thus make us live forever. This is the secret behind immortality, being renewed, and transfiguration. So now onto the 13th Spirit of Christ. The 13th Spirit in the middle of the city operates, and then we look at the METATRONS Cube here, and the spear, the circle in the middle represents Christ, the 13th spear. Okay. And he completes the 25th spear, in which 5 + 2 = 7, which is perfection, the seventh day. All right. So the 13th spear is the middle of the city, operates as the throne that Christ sits on. So that spear is also the throne which Christ sits on in New Jerusalem. This throne is a spiritual rock as well. That spiritual rock in which we drink from. It is the rock that the waters of the river of life come from. You see that the throne proceeds from the waters of life. The rivers of life proceed from the throne. They proceed also from the rock. All right. That spiritual rock is Christ in the middle of the 13th spear. This rock is also the tree of life. The tree of life, and that tree of life is the word. Christ is the word that makes the waters, the bitter waters, sweet for the nations to drink from. So that's why Christ, the tree of life, is at the center, the rock that the waters proceed from, that so the nations can drink from it and it be pure. This is also signified by Christ's death when he was sacrificed. Now, that tree that Moses thrown into the waters and made the waters from bitter to sweet is parallel to Christ died and him being thrown to humanity, making the all of humanity healed in a sense of turning the bitters of humanity, the sinfulness of humanity into and healing into making them perfect and forgiven. So this rock is also the foundation stone that we collectively make up. The 12 apostles make up the foundation stones. The foundation of your throne, Scripture says, is righteousness and justice, and we have been made unto God righteousness and justice. So we make up the foundation of the throne, and that. So we are living stones that make up the foundation of the throne, and Christ is that capstone that is the foundation of the throne. We are part of that foundation, and signified by the 12 apostles of the new covenant, and the 12 tribes signify the people of God of the Old Testament, and the 12 apostles signify the people of God of the New Testament, but they're all one. They connect at the center. So the 12 apostles make up the foundation stones, of which we are living stones that make up the throne of God together, along with the capstone, which is Christ. And I'm moving on to the supernal mother. And supernal means celestial. So we're talking about the celestial mother, meaning Shekinah. Shekinah is characterized by a feminine aspect of God. God made us in his own image, and he made us male and female. So he has feminine and masculine qualities. And the Shekinah, the presence of God, that is a feminine aspect of his glory. And it's also called the supernal mother. Now, the river coming from the throne is also likened to a woman's water breaking, signifying that she is about to go into birth and deliver. So let's look at a picture here, and this is a picture of like as if the Shekinah glory cloud, and it's like reddish, and it's like a mixture of water and blood. Okay. So also notice that out of the cries on the cross, out of his side, out of Jesus' side came water and blood. And that is to signify the river of life coming from the throne, coming from the temple. Christ is the temple. So during the birthing process, as we know, when a woman is about to go in labor and birth, her water breaks, and out comes water. And the fluids of a woman's birthing process is water and blood. So during the birthing process, there was a mixture of water and blood. We haven't even seen. What's interesting, what's so crazy about this is that the water that proceeds from the throne is only the breakage, is only a breaking preceding the birth of Christ, like a woman's water that breaks. That's signifying, it's parallel to the water that proceeds from the throne. So what we see is only the precursor to the actual delivery of the baby. So we haven't even seen the finished product of what God is birthing into the world. His very waters, the river of life, is only a precursor of the actual birth that is coming. So if Christ's pre-birth waters cause creation, what will be the result when he actually births what is inside him? This is that fountain of water from this throne, Jesus' side, that is for the removing of sin and causing purification. We see this in Zechariah 13:1. This water pouring out from the throne is synonymous with the pouring out of God's Spirit. If it is his Spirit, then it is his light energy going forth, the Shekinah. This light energy causes creation. We see this in Isaiah 44:3. John 5:1-4 shows us that the waters can have healing powers if activated by angelic forces. This river of life is also the river of Jubilee. When the river flows, it signifies the release of debts, slavery, and return to land. The river of Jubilee also signifies a sound of celebration, jubilation, and this sound is also a destruction to enemies. Okay, when the horn was blown at the walls of Jericho, it meant entering into land, deliverance, and also destruction to the enemies. So it meant creation and destruction. That sound of Jubilee is creation and destruction. All right. This is also a picture of how the Shekinah glory is not only a luminous cloud, it's also a flowing river. So the sound of some act of creation to the righteous is an act of deliverance, but at the same time it can be act of destruction to the enemies. This is what is referred to as none. Now on to New Jerusalem as an oasis. It is the true Eden. New Jerusalem is signified and shows a picture of a oasis, and that oasis is the true Eden. What Eden was meant in the book of Genesis was New Jerusalem, a oasis. So we see the 12 gates of the city in the New Jerusalem in Metatron's cube. These are the 12 wells in Exodus 15:22 to 27. It is that water seed. This is that water that seeds the world. And we have the palm trees. They are the trees of life on each side of the river of life proceeding from the throne. This whole picture of 12 wells, which are the 12 gates of the city, the water flows through, and the 70 palm trees is a picture of a oasis of Eden, the true Eden restored. The power of all this is that all of this exists within you. You are New Jerusalem. You are Metatron's cube. The structure of New Jerusalem is Metatron's cube. It is the epicenter of creation. All this technology exists within you. Shekinah rests in you, upon you, if and because you are that sanctuary of time, that Sabbath encapsulated in your body. Okay, with this endless time, where there's a beginning and the end, that up top, which is Christ, exists there. There's more space within you than there is space in the outer world. They are as above, so below. They are connected. So you have that river, that sound, that energy, that flow of Shekinah, supernal waters exuding from your being, which creates blessings, breakthrough, and it causes, on the other side, destruction on your enemies, those forces that oppose you. Plus, it helps you possess your destiny, as with the walls of Jericho. There had needed to be a sound that caused the walls to fall, and it also had to be at a certain time. So we have this sanctuary of time, which was on the seventh day. Okay, Sabbath is powerful, and you being an embodiment of that Sabbath, you have you have immense power within you, because you are an embodiment of that Sabbath. You are embodiment of that rest in which everything is completed. All of reality flows from you, and all time, past, present, and future, all realities, dimensions, you can access and project as the epicenter of creation at Metatron's cube. Okay, which projects all of the simulations of reality and all that river, which a river is signified as a flow of time and consciousness. So the river flows from you. That river of time and consciousness flows from you. You can manipulate and cause time and consciousness to be affected by the river that flows from you, from the 12 precious stones and the 12 gates in that oasis, you see. So you are also a sanctuary of time in your body, where the Sabbath operates perpetually, so God can rest in you. The Sabbath rest causes immortality powers. Out of your body are 12 foundation gates of water, which is spirit energy. And as I mentioned, 70 trees, which the leaves are for the healing of the nations. Your very own body heals other people. This is how you replenish the earth. This is why God said to Adam in the beginning, replenish the earth, because he had within his own body the powers to replenish the earth. You see? Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.